I wanted to make a Halo Infinite Arbiter since I already have a Halo Infinite Master Chief to be able to use for different MOCs and dioramas. Now, I didn't really know what I was going to do with this figure. I was just kind of going with the flow, and I actually really thought it turned out nice in the end. When you're making a figure like this and you're just kind of freestyling it and having fun with it, the creative inspiration I think really flows. I didn't really have any problems thinking of new things for this figure. I went off of things that I found on Google Images and just a bunch of other reference pictures of different elites, and all in all, combining all these things together I think turned out really nice. Also, I've been using gloves when I use green stuff now just because I feel like it's a little bit safer. It does say that you should avoid skin contact if you can on the actual package, so I think I'm going to start doing that from now on whenever I'm mixing and working with it on my figures. The nice thing about making a figure that you have no guidelines to is that you can do whatever you want with it. I really was just creative and just went around and did whatever I thought Halo Infinite Arbiter should look like or would look like in my eyes. I think my favorite part about the whole Arbiter was this back spine piece right here. This just looks really crazy when it's actually painted, and I really think it turned out nice. After that was done, I moved on to the Grunt, and I had to cut him open. The Arbiter had some kind of a grudge with this Grunt and just slashed him right open down the middle. So I took my Dremel bit and I just started chopping away. Once that was done, I had to reassemble him and super glue him together, just so he would really hold up in the actual diorama that I was going to make for him later on. Once that was all finished, I added some green stuff in the middle just so I could make him look a little bit more fleshy in the inside. I also added a little bit of scarring damage on the Arbiter as well as the Grunt. Same thing that I did with my Spartan Slayer, really. I really like this technique, and I thought it's a really good trick to just scuff up your figures very easily and very effectively. I'm using Pink Panther foam that you can find at Home Depot is where I get it, but you can also find it at other hardware stores as well. I started making some hill texture with these different pieces of styrofoam. I wanted to make a cave in the inside. I started to just carve away and make it have more of a mountainy / rocky texture in the actual styrofoam itself. Then I glued on an extra piece on the back to give it a little bit more length. Then I carved away the back just to make it all flush so I can attach something to it later. I also leveled off the top of it so I could add a roof to it. I was going to use hot glue in a paper towel to actually hold the back of this together. Now this isn't something I've ever tried before, but that was going to work really well, and it actually did in the end. It was very strong and gave it a lot more flexibility. Once that was done, I started on the roof piece. Pretty much the same steps as the other one, and then I started cutting away the paper towel on the back. I had to make this piece fit on top of the rock, so I carved away a little bit of an edge line and then I glued it right on top. I also added just some more glue and a piece of paper towel to make sure that all held together as well. I started with a base coat of black paint. Now, I do this for pretty much all of my styrofoam work, just so if I miss any spots, it's just going to be black instead of, well, pink. Then I hit it with a very light gray just to give that rocky texture and also stone look to the actual cave itself. Then I started bloodying up my grunts. So I'm using Citadel paints for all my paint work here on my figures, and I basically just started to apply it all the way around this grunt. Now, I wasn't very specific in my application of the paint. I wanted to make them look real messy. I also added some orange and red like plasma burns cut through the grunt, and I thought that turned out pretty cool. Then for the Arbiter Armor itself, I used a gold Citadel paint that I have, and I just pretty much dry brushed it all over, or a wet brush all over. Now I did a few coats of this just to make sure it covered everything, and it turned out really nice in the end. I also had to get a small brush and really get into those small details and make sure I didn't get any on the actual skin tone of the Arbiter itself. Added a little bit of black highlighting to certain areas to just add a little bit more depth and detail. And then I added some white on the lights as well. Once that was done, I cut a little hole in my diorama and placed a stand for my figure. And then I added some Liquitex gel all the way around the diorama. I wanted to make it look like it was a snow cave. It's kind of a simple process, and I really just like the snow aspect of the Liquitex gel. It makes things so much easier, and this diorama was going to look great with the snow on it. I placed in my figure using Liquitex gel to hold him, and I put him up against a rock. Once that was done, I added a little tree over to the corner just to add some more eye scatter terrain, and I also made that a little bit snowy. I also added some more flowers on the left side and the right side. These are just little things that I found at craft stores, little flowers. I thought that looked pretty good. I wanted to make ice coming down from the very top of the cave itself, so I had some hot glue and I cut it up into various different spiked pieces, and I attached it to the top of the cave like ice spikes were forming. Once that was done, I made it look like the grunt got splattered in here, and that was about it. That's all for this little diorama. Alright guys, here is the diorama. It is a small story of my Halo Infinite Arbiter that I just made here. Business he had to take care of with this grunt. The grunt was hiding here, and he slashed him down pretty good with his energy sword. I'm really happy with how this Arbiter turned out. I mean, it looks so good. Let me just take him off here. I mean, this figure turned out really good. I actually gave him an extra energy sword on this side, as you can see, and I think that was a really cool little touch. I mean, the battle damage is light, but still kind of similar to my Master Chief that I made. And now I have a Halo Infinite Master Chief and a Halo Infinite Arbiter, and I'm super excited to be able to make some really cool Halo Infinite MOCs. So if you want me to do any specific ideas that you have for Halo Infinite, put them in the comments down below, and I might pick one of them and maybe get inspiration from one of them, and that'd be super cool to be able to do that. And then with my little cave here, I thought the cave turned out really good. I really like how this Grunt's like super simple, but also he got like cut open. I added a little bit of red to make it so there's like heat burns from the energy swords still that cut through him. Cave looks good, the blood splatters look good. Overall, I'm very happy with this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot when it comes to making this kind of content. And don't forget to share with friends or anybody else that likes Halo, or maybe groups. It really does help the channel. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.